Pay attention. You must remember this. Don't put towels on your shoulders, right? That's where your hair falls down. Okay, look. And so you know, I put my towel on as a side towel. Some health inspectors don't want to see it on your belt either. They just want to see it on the table. Okay, so you're working in a place where they don't want it on your belt, don't put it there either. Okay, flour's cold, it goes in. Here's our salt. Salt? This much salt?
Pinch of salt.
Pinch of salt.
Yeah. Pinch of salt.
Okay, if you're making a sweet crust, that was a nice big pinch, right? If you're using a pinch of salt, which one am I using here?
Half teaspoon.
Okay. If you're using a sweet crust, add like to this probably a tablespoon of sugar. This is a savory crust, savory versus sweet, right? So we mix these together. This is extremely difficult. It takes forever, right? So I got my salt. I have my flour cold in here. I take the butter. I lay the butter in.
That's 3 ounces of butter.
Oh, that's what he said. We can grate it in there or something like that.
Okay. And I kind of break this up and get it tossed in the flour and keep it all separate. You do not want to handle this with your hands. Why?
It's messy.
The heat.
The heat will melt the butter. The heat will melt the butter. The butter needs to stay cold. The idea of a good flaky pie crust is you have little tiny lumps or flakes of butter. You put it in the oven. If it's a crust, you put it in the oven. The butter melts, turns to water. The water turns to steam. It goes and pops up little bubbles in your dough. And then the fat and the butter cooks the dough and keeps those bubbles there, so when you bite, you're breaking bubbles open, and what crispiness or crunchiness is the sound of breaking bubbles that vibrates into your jaw. Science. No. There's a guy in the University of Leeds, England. All he does is study crunch. He's a doctor of crunch. He has machines that measure crunch. This is what he says. It's a fun job.
I love crunchy stuff.
University of Leeds in England. Okay, so now I got this. Now I take my side of my spatula here, I smash the sucker. And it's got to be coated in flour so I don't get a whole bunch of butter sticking to my spatula. Okay, this will barely make a crust. The recipe's a little on the shy side. I got to adjust it up another 10%. Okay, so I smash it. Cut it, and what you're looking for in the end are size of butter the size of peas, like green peas, but they can be flattened green peas too. Don't move.
Flour and the cold butter.
Flour, butter, and salt. And if you're going to put in sugar, the sugar would be in already too. Okay, this is for a savory dish, not a sweet dish, so we're not adding sugar. We can add a little sugar if you want, a little bit, it's fine. Kind of balances it out, makes it sexier. That's fine too.
Do you need a special pan or anything?
Well, when we're going to bake this, you're going to bake it in a pie pan of some kind, which I hope we have here.
If we don't, can we substitute it?
Well, I know we have some monster ones back there. So what we might do is have 2 teams work together on this. Like each team makes a pie crust recipe, and they combine it together to make one big crust. Okay. So see the flakes I'm making here. See how this is?
Oh, yes.
If I make this smooth, what would I be making instead? Anybody know?
Cake.
Okay.
Cookie.
Oh, cookie.
If I mix and mix this, and the butter mixes in completely, I'm making a cookie.
Oh,
Same idea, but it's a cookie.
Cookie for a wookie.
Okay, so I kind of break this up and smash it up and break it up until I get these beautiful little flaky things in there. This is now, I think, where I need it to be. Okay, there we go. See that? Everybody see that? Want to get up close? Come and look.
Yes.
Everybody see that now? See what's happening? Log it in your brain. Do not forget. This is a visual, sensual thing you have to remember. This is not there's no science that can teach you how to do this. You must remember what you're looking at. Eddie wants to get a closer look. Let him in, please. What we got? Okay. Now I take my ice cold water. I take my vinegar, mix them together, and very quickly Not that fast. Here we go, like that. Get this in there. Don't wait too long. Hopefully it's the right amount. We'll find out in a moment. Mix it fast, because if I let it sit too long, it's going to make one little part wet and the rest will be dry, right? See what I'm doing here? I'm adding vinegar because acid in a dough, remember this please, because you may not hear this again for a while. Acid in a dough makes it stretch more easily. You can use lemon stretch. You can also use lemon juice would work, okay? Now hopefully this is the right amount of liquid. It's definitely not too wet, I don't think. Yeah, it's actually not bad. Smash it together into a dough. And again, not using my hands here, right? See if I have enough liquid. Fold it. Smash again. You don't want to make, again, I'm not trying to make cookie dough. I'm just trying to make this come together into one cohesive dough. Might almost need no, I think we're good. I'm going to say a little more water, but I think we're okay. On a moister day, if it's very humid out, you need less water because the flour has absorbed water. See what's happening now? And I'm going to stop like about now. Plastic wrap, please, right now.